Hi, my divine money peeps. How are you today? Happy Thursday. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad I'm here. I'm so glad we're here together. It's my opening song. Wow, what a week. Yeah, April 2nd. This is the first video for this month's Goddess Card Focus, which is going to be on the prosperity money goddess mind perspective. And I'm telling you, this is so appropriate more than anything than any of the other videos, just because of what we're experiencing, what we're going through right now, what's happening in our world right now. And I have to be honest, like I kind of had my own little meltdown a few days ago because just of the overwhelming energy that is going on through our countries and through our cities and through our states and our communities around this fear of what's happening in our community. And I can, as an empath and as just a human spirit who cares about humanity, I feel that pain, and I question and wonder, like, what can I do? What can I do to do that, to shift and to make a difference and to help you, help people, help my neighbors in all of this. So when I was getting ready to do this live video, of course I pulled out the card that we're doing for this month, which is the prosperity money goddess from the mind perspective. And what I envision I create is, I gotta put this in the camera, is exactly what her focus is. And I thought, wow, isn't that so appropriate for right now? Because what it is that we want, what we envision, we create. So if we're staying in this energy of fear around everything that's happening, then we create more fear. We create more worry. We create more chaos in our life and in our neighborhoods, because our energy ripples out into the people that are in our lives. It ripples out into our neighbors and into our communities, our states. I mean, it just all ripples out. And so I've been working on some things, and I actually took some notes because I want to make sure that I cover everything in how do we navigate this new financial economy. How do we navigate this? Because it's going to be completely different once we're finally able to be out in the world a little bit more. But even still, right now, it already is different. So how do we navigate this new financial economy, and how do we make the best new planet, new world for all of us in these next few months in this new years? And it's exciting, and it's nerve-wracking, and it's all kinds of emotional feelings, I'll tell you that. So ultimately, I just want to say first off is that it is a new major shift that's happening, and there's no doubt about that. And our financial life that we've experienced and that we've had on this planet is forever changed. And I think that the thing that is the most exciting part about this is that it's actually opening up a whole new level of opportunities when you think about the supply that's going on in our grocery stores and the supplies that are being purchased, produced, backstock has been sold, current markets are being emptied out of certain supplies and certain things. And yeah, there are industries that are losing jobs, but there's industries that are opening up a lot more jobs. And this is what this is an exciting part about, is that you're going to have the opportunity to create that perfect job, that perfect business for yourself that you absolutely love, one that you can express your joy, your passion and everything. Because ultimately what's going to happen is all of the manufacturing jobs are going to be coming back here in the United States. I mean, listening to President Trump, you already can hear him already laying the foundation for that importance, and knowing that we have to create a economy within the United States that can support our people, support our planet, support us as Americans and in our communities, that doesn't depend on other countries for certain goods and services. So this is a good thing, because what happened with, and this is because of my study, I have been studying and reviewing and watching numbers. You know, my specialty is cleaning up and putting together financial systems within businesses and organizations and corporations. And what's been interesting is the different industries that I've got to work in and do this work. It's shown me this pattern, and now I can see this pattern and how it actually flows through our cities and through our country and through our economy. So what's happened is, because this new marketplace is opening up, it's going to give an opportunity for all of you to create a different experience with your money, but create a different business life for you. Create a new, you know, bringing back all the manufacturing. I mean, this is going to be the heyday time for crafters, especially crafters, creators, because we're going to be need to bring in, I mean, we're going to need to bring in new, higher quality, better quality products made here in the United States with United States resources, United States labor, United States love. And what that's going to do is bring more money into our communities. And this is what is so important, is that the financial health of our neighbors is so important for our financial health. There is no cause without effect. There is always a cause with effect. And if we're constantly shipping our labor, our money into other countries, it's taking the money out of the United States, and it's taking that money out of our neighbor's pocket. But what's also going to happen with us bringing our manufacturing back into our communities is it's also going to bring back the tax revenue that happens from having a business. When a person has a business, and a manufacturing business, and I don't know if you can see this, but this is a little chart that I drew up a while back, a little bit, that I wanted to talk about when we have products that are purchased here in the United States. There are so many taxes that are created and levied on a particular business. Not that it doesn't make the business not profitable, but what it does is it brings more tax revenue into our cities. So there's the employment taxes, there's sales tax for the raw materials, there's taxes on the equipment, there's property tax, there's parts and labor tax that gets tacked onto repairing the equipment. There's a whole new multi-million dollar, probably billion-dollar level of taxes that, when we're producing and creating in the United States, that tax revenue gets put back into our tax system. Now, I don't agree and say I don't agree with how all of the tax stuff happens, but what that tax, and how that tax revenue is used. But part of what that tax revenue uses is for the unemployment, for medical, for our roads, for the education, for the elderly, for our fire, for our police, for the government programs, like the food stamps and the housing. There are many social services that are supported by our tax revenue. And at the moment, because we're not manufacturing as much in the United States, and because the labor, and because we're not buying Utah-made items or US-made items, the only tax revenue that's coming into our cities is the taxes from the actual employee and what they get paid and what they pay out into the world, you know, through their purchases, through their shopping. And just recently, Utah just went through this big, I mean, we all signed petitions and whatnot or whatever to fight it, but the state of Utah was trying to increase the sales tax. They actually just a few years ago gave us the tax a reduced tax on food, which was great. So it used to be at the regular sales tax rate, and then they reduced it. But then what they were trying to do this last year is they wanted to increase our sales tax on food, like double it back up to where it was on our actual products. They wanted to increase sales tax on the gas, and they wanted to increase sales tax on different services in businesses. And the reason why they were trying to do that is because they don't have the revenue from the manufacturings and from the corporations and from the businesses. So there's a lot of debate on all different types of stuff, but the way that that money flows, our tax revenue flows, is that if the state doesn't have the tax, they go to the people. And the people aren't able to create that, to buy, purchase, or whatever, to pay those taxes because they're not getting paid enough. And the reason they're not getting paid enough is because the corporations can't make, there's again another debate, but ultimately, because they're not selling the products. And why aren't they selling their products? Because the people can't pay for those products because they're not making enough money. So it's this cycle that happens, that when we're draining our money out into other countries and buying things from other countries, what's happening is we're draining the money from the United States, and we're stopping that whole revenue, that whole movement of money and circulation of money within our own communities. So this is why what's so important, and this is one thing that's so exciting about this time, is that those manufacturing is going to need to come back. Those home-made products are going to be coming back in the United States, not only because we want to support our local communities, but also because we want to use the resources that are here already. We've seen how the manufacturing stopping in China, the over-manufacturing in China, has stopped because of this disease and what the environmental impact has had. And I can guarantee you that we want to continue that same shift, that same dynamic in our economic impact that we're making with the manufacturing. So Yahoo, that means there's going to be a lot more jobs. And if you don't see the job that you want, create your own job. And that's what I would suggest so much right now, to take this time to start dreaming that dream of what you want your financial life to be, dreaming that dream of what you want, how you want to express yourself. Write it out, meditate on it, pray about it, like connect into it every single day. Write out, because again, what we envision, we create. So instead of focusing on the fear of what's going to happen financially, start focusing on the excitement of what you can create financially. And don't worry about the how. I know you think, oh, but how? Trust me, the more you connect in with yourself, you're going to get these answers. And that's why meditation is so important, writing it out, just even writing yourself the question, what do I need to know to get this goal? Where is my goal? Where can I go? What do I need to learn? How do I learn this? I mean, ask yourself these questions in your writing and in your journaling, and you will get the answer. You will get the answer. It's super cool. So make sure I read this. So I just want to make sure I get all this that I wrote down and tell you. So ultimately holding that energy and that light and that love that you have and that excitement for what it is that you want to create in the world. And if you're home with kids, get them to write out what they want to see. Get them to write out what their views are of a perfect world, and get them out of the fear. Get them away from the computers. I mean, bottom line, we are going through a financial evolution, but also a spiritual evolution and an awakening. And right now with social media and everything that's on the computers and everything, we're just being bombarded with so much anger and so much sadness and depression and fear mongering. And I mean, I love what my friend said the other day. We're like being injected with fear into our consciousness. And the best way to combat that fear is to focus on the now and focus on that future that you want to create. And start trusting in that energy of we're all going to be taken care of, because we will. I mean, people are stepping up to support our neighbors. People are stepping up to reinvent and reorganize different things within their business to create more medical supplies. Um, People are stepping up to cover wages. There is help out there, that we are here and we're supporting each other. And that's what's so exciting to see. So don't be afraid. Step out of that fear and start being a creator of a bit better, more beautiful future for all of us, because ultimately what this is doing is laying out the playing field for all of us. And we have a new opportunity to create a much better, more equitable, more fair, more loving, more peaceful life for ourselves, for our neighbors, for our friends, for our families, for our cities, for our state, for our country, for our world, all around. Not only for ourselves, but all of humanity. And we can do it if we all focus in on the creative piece of this and out of the fear. Another thing I want to talk about that's super important right now is for you to maintain the health of your body, to look at making sure you're getting your electrolytes, that you are getting out, getting some sunshine, you're eating good foods. Like, this is a perfect time to learn how to cook. I was raised a little Mormon girl, and I thought I would have learned how to cook better, but I didn't. I did not learn how to cook. And so over the last few years, because as I've gone on my spiritual journey, I mean, just eating out, it's just like, the food is just, it's just nasty. It just is nasty. It just isn't the quality that it used to be, because everybody's trying to be so cheap in how they create stuff. So learn how to cook. Read the cookbooks. Listen to the videos. There's tons of things out there. I saw a new video online that I absolutely love, of these little Italian ladies that are teaching people how to create their own pasta at home. Just start playing with it. One of my favorite new cooking tools right now is the Instapot. I love the Instapot because it adds a lot of beautiful moisture, juiciness to the meats. And Instapot is great. So make sure that you're taking care of your body, that you're taking care of your sleeping needs, your resting needs. Like, if you need to have a meltdown, have a meltdown. I mean, I did. Allow yourself to grieve during this process, and allow yourself to express your emotions and your feelings throughout this. Don't bottle them up, because if you bottle them up, it's just going to end up going out into anger and resentment. The next thing I wanted to talk about is, if you are in a business and you have heard, I'm sure, a lot about the different small business association loans, the different money that's out there, just know a couple of things so you can find it on CoronaVirus.Utah.Gov. I'll put it in the link in a comment below, of the government, I can never say it, I don't know why, Utah.Gov. There's some great resources on there for people, for businesses, about getting the loans, and about financial help that's out there. There's a couple of things from a business aspect you got to make sure to remember, is to read the terms very well. There are specific requirements in order to get the loan. So there's some great, there's a ton of information on there. There's fact sheets, there's instruction sheets, there's, their credit requirements are they want a credit history. So you have to have an acceptable credit score. You have to be able to show that you can repay the loans, and depending on the amount of loan, they'll also ask for some collateral. The interest rate is at 3.75%, so that's a great interest rate. But again, you got to look at the terms, because not all of them are not everybody's going to qualify for an SBA loan. What they're calling them, what it basically is a bridge loan, which is just ultimately is a short-term loan to get you over the bridge. And what they're going to ask for you is an application. They're going to want to know, a profit and loss sheet. They're going to want to know your schedule of liabilities, so what debt you already are carrying, because you're going to have to also be able to show that you can pay this loan back. So make sure you create a plan on how you're going to do this. I know that that the other option that a lot of people are doing is they're just laying employees off, which ultimately is increasing the unemployment rate and the unemployment benefits. But know as a business owner that as many employees that file unemployment claims, that your unemployment insurance will increase in the next renewal, just so you keep that in mind. So you'll either be increasing your unemployment insurance rates, or you're going to be paying a little bit more in your interest. And you may not be able to pay the full wages of the employees, but what you can do is pay their rent. Give them a few extra bucks to for food. If you can't pay the full amount of salary, pay part of it so that they can at least cover their rent or their mortgage, and we can keep that ball rolling. And then use the loan money to cover those costs, because this SBA loans, they have very strict uses for that money, and one of them is to pay the employees. So, and to cover like basic overhead costs. But on the instructions and in the information, it tells you what the money can be used for. The other thing that I thought was really interesting is that they also have a policy and regulation for what somebody can charge you for helping you fill out all of this information, because there's a lot of information. And so if you feel overwhelmed by that, know that you can hire an accountant or somebody to help you write how to fill these out. But they have also given out policy and regulations that they can't charge you anything more than $2,500 for the business loan application, or $500 for a disaster home loan. So just know that if somebody's trying to charge you an exorbitant amount, no, it's been regulated. They can't charge you more than $2,500 for your business to fill out this information for yourself, to apply for the loan. So just really think about what's in your best interest of your business, what's in the best interest of your employees, and what's in the best interest of you and the long-term, effect of the decision you make on how you financially go through this little hump with your business. They have business loans available for sole proprietors as well. So if you're a single proprietor, they'll still ask the same questions. They'll still want you to fill out the application with with your financial information, and want to see a profit and loss for your small business. And yeah, you can do it. So just watch for it. If you have a mortgage that you need to ask for a forbearance on, utilities, call these people. Call your utility people. Call your mortgage companies. Some mortgages, they're allowing you to put those payments towards the end of the loan. Some of them are forgiving. Well, they're not forgiving. They're just postponing it for like 3 or 4 months, and then they're asking for a balloon payment. It's called a balloon payment, which means it's a bigger amount, which ultimately is those 4 months. Instead of paying them, you pay it all at once. So just really be conscious of what the terms are of that particular loan. Just know that it is going to need to be paid back. That's all there is to that one. So yeah, buy Utah first. This is also a great opportunity now to, start. I mean, we all want to help somebody. We all want to help everybody, but we're not always able to do that. And one of the things that we can do is, instead of buying on Amazon, buy from Facebook Messenger, or Facebook Marketplace or whatever. Find a local person who has what you're needing. We have an abundance of crap and stuff and things already in our world, and when you go on the Facebook Marketplace, you will see everything you can think of for sale. So use that as a resource to not only, of course you're going to need to disinfect it. I'm not a doctor by any means, so use your own judgment. But disinfect it or whatever you feel you need to do. But this is a way to get money into your neighbor's pocket. This is the way to support our community in a different way and help them, but then get the supplies that you need as well. So it's a great way to do that. But like I talked about again, buying from the U.S. made stuff brings in more tax revenue into our businesses, into our communities, and that supports everybody all around in that particular place. The other thing I wanted to talk about is watch out for scams. Oh my gosh, there's so many stinking scams out there. And I've seen it so many places. I've seen it from, because I use QuickBooks, which is a financial software program for your accounting. And then my bank, I got a couple different banks. But what was interesting was one day I got a survey from both QuickBooks and from the bank asking me for how was my recent experience with the bank and can I give them a survey. And when I looked at the address of where it came, ultimately just be suspicious of any of these things that are coming across on your phone, that are coming across on your computer for wanting you to fill out a survey or look at this thing. I've gotten them for like, oh, we're wanting to offer you a job and we have a job thing, or we want to offer you credit, or we want you to fill out this survey, or just be highly suspicious of them. There's been times like before you open any attachments, before you click into any of them, look at what the name is, get on Google, do a Google search for these people, for these companies, for whatever, and see if they're even credible before you click on them, because the cyber terrorism is just as rampant as anything else. So watch for those scams, even on your phone. Yeah, just be very careful of it, because you don't want to be getting viruses on your computer that can get into your system and can get into your banking system and cause more problems for you. So that's something that you want to be very, very aware of and very cautious of in this new place. So, yeah, we create what we want, but we create this, what we envision, we create, but we also have to use our wisdom and use our logic and use our mental capacity as well as our heart. It's a balance between the two. That's why they call it yin and yang. In masculine and feminine, it's using both our head and our heart, but leading with our heart and being smart about things, opening our eyes to see what's right in front of us, and listening to our own self and to our own higher knowing of who we are. Because, ultimately, this is a spiritual war. This is a war against good and evil. And are we going to allow the fear to take us down and control us? Or are we going to take our own power back as divine beings and create and ripple out a more positive energy and a more positive forward life for us? We have the power. We cannot count on the government, the banks, the churches. We can't count on anybody else to bail us out of our own space, out of our own situation. We have to take the initiative to do it. Get support along the way, somebody to talk to if you need to. Get the financial support that you need to, but start making more creative, empowered decisions and action towards the life that you want and the business that you want, the work that you want, the job that you want, the community that you want. Meditate on it, write about it, take some action, 2 or 3 steps towards it. Just do it. It's so important. It's so, so important, because you are so much more powerful. You are such a powerful being if you let yourself be in that power. And you do that through our meditation, through our focusing on it, through our writing about it, and through our intentions and our actions that we take. And one of the things that I started doing, and I can just feel it, it's just been so amazing in my meditation, in the healing meditation of healing and supporting my neighbors in the community, is, ultimately we want to create this sonic boom, like boom, 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 and let this sonic boom ripple out to where it ripples out to the hearts of everybody around us. So in your meditation, in your healing meditation, imagine that light coming in through you, centering in your heart, and then center that strength, boom, 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 of peace and harmony to everybody in your neighborhood, to everybody in your home, and just let it out. I mean, I've already heard some scary things that have been happening on. I live down in kind of South Salt Lake, just above some of the more poverty level areas. And yesterday I heard gunshots a couple of times, and then I've been hearing ambulances all the time now, and also just these horrible stories of people that are doing these horrible things to each other in their homes. And it's because of this fear. It's because of this fear, this rampant rage of fear of our survival. And that survival is our home, our food, our supplies, what was the first thing we all went out and bought? Toilet paper. We will be taken care of. We are taken care of. We have always been taken care of. And this whole horrible thing is a place, again, to waken us up to what is truly, truly important for us. And we can do it. If we hold this strength of light in our bodies and in ourselves, and let that peace and trust ripple out into the world. And that's what I invite you all to do. I invite you to do, is to hold this peace and light and love in your heart. Know the strength of who you are, and just like a sonic boom, 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 hold it in and let it ripple out. The more of us that can do this in our communities, the safer our communities and our neighbors will be, because we're sending out a pulse of love and light. And love is the highest. Gratitude and love are the highest vibrations that we can hold. And the more we do that, the more we'll ripple out a different and create a whole different experience for all of us, keeping everybody safe and healthy through this crisis. I was writing this down, and I was like, this is like a global Holocaust right now. Looking at these pictures of the amount of deaths that are happening, it breaks my heart to see how much we're hurting and how much we're hurting each other. But we can turn it around. You can turn it around through your divine light, through your power. And there's no accidents that this is all happening in this month. If we look at the calendar, I couldn't believe it. There's so many religious holidays that are happening right now. There's Palm Sunday, Good Friday, Easter, Holocaust Remembrance Day is even here, and it ends on Earth Day. Earth Day is a beautiful day. And I read this quote just before I got on the live that I wanted to share with you. It's from Albert Einstein said, "Our task is to free ourselves by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty." To embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauties. And even though we can't hold hands, we can't gather in circles right now, we can gather in our hearts and in our light and in our divine intention, and in creating that sonic boom, 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 boom. Letting it ripple out into our neighbors, creating peace and love and healing for everybody. You can do it. I can do it. We can do it. It's an exciting time. Trust in the magic. Trust in our future. Write your future, what you want it to be. This new financial economy is going to be amazing. It's going to be the best. There will be a little shift. There will be some transition. But write what you want. As it is written, so it shall be. I love you, my divine money peeps. Please write any questions or comments in the comments below. I would love to connect with you, answer any questions that you have. Go to my website, Divine Money Mastery. I have a podcast series there, the Spirit of Money podcast, with some amazing podcasts to assist you in healing this relationship with your money and shift you in or support you in, reorganizing your thoughts with money. I mean, entrepreneurs hire me to support them in creating a new path and a new financial relationship to create more profit in their business, creating a business that brings more light and love and support to everybody around them. And, it's an exciting, beautiful place to be. So, again, I love you. I'll see you next week. Peace in.